So if you do this, what is the answer that you got, students? 2 into 100 divided by 0.16. 200 divided by 0.16. It is 1250, right? Isn't it 1250 microampere per volt? So rather than mentioning in microampere, what you will do is you can divide it with 1000 so that you can convert into milliampere. So answer will be 1.25 milliampere per volt. Clear? Is this clear for you? You initially you got 1250 microampere per volt. You can convert it into milliampere by dividing it with 1000. So now you got GM, and which is the next unknown? If you see this equation, which is the next unknown? RL dash, right? What is RL dash? RL dash is the parallel combination of R01 and R02. Please remember the circuit diagram. We are stacking CS over, PMOS over NMOS, isn't it? NMOS is your common source amplifier and PMOS is your current source. That is Q1 and Q2. Q2 is the active load, Q1 is the amplifying transistor. So you need to take the effect of the output resistances of both the transistors Q1 and Q2. So you will get the overall RL dash. So first we will find R01. R01 means it is Q1. Q1 is NMOS, isn't it? The amplifying transistor is NMOS and current mirror is PMOS, or the active load is PMOS. So to find R01, what you will do? R01 as per our equation, it is nothing but the early voltage divided by the drain current. Drain current is equivalent to the reference current, which is 100 microampere. And the total early voltage is equal to VAN dash. What is VAN dash? 5 volt per micrometer into the length. Okay, this is your length of the channel. We need to multiply the length with VAN dash so that you will get the actual VAN. So 5 into 0.36 by 100 will make 18 kilo ohm. Similarly, find R02 and let me know the answer for R02. How will you find R02? It is R02 is with respect to which MOS? It is PMOS. So VAP by ID. What is VAP dash? It is 6 volt. So 6 volt per micrometer into the length. Yes, length is 0.36. Very good. So the answer is 21.6 kilo ohm. Good. After that, take the parallel effect of R01 and R02. Check if you are getting this 9.82. 18 into 21.6 divided by 18 plus 21.6. It is 9.8, right? So that is your RL dash. Now substitute everything in our main equation. CGS is 20, CGD is 5 into 1 plus GM is 1.25, because I will retain it in milliampere itself because RL dash is in kilo ohm. That is 9.82. So 1.25 into this is 9.82, that is 12.3. And your answer will be in femtofarad because milliampere into kilo ohm, right? Sorry, milliampere, and the other one is this is in femto, isn't it? Yeah, this is in femto. this will get cancelled. GM and RL dash will gets cancelled. Milliampere and kilo ohm will get cancelled. So everything it is in femto. Okay. So answer is 86.5 femto. Now, as per our derivation, the cutoff frequency is given by 1 by 2 pi Cin into Rsig. Cin is the Miller equivalent. So this is a Miller equivalent. And Rsig is directly given in the question. It is 10 kilo ohm. So 10 kilo ohm and femto will make 10 to the power minus 12, right? Ten to the power minus 5 into 10 to the power 3, that is 10 to the power minus 12. So you will get the answer in hertz. Convert into megahertz by dividing it with 10 to the power 6. After solving this, you will get in hertz. Convert that hertz into megahertz by dividing it with 10 to the power 6 and see if you are getting 184 megahertz as the cutoff frequency by using this method of Miller equivalent. Are you getting Ramya Priya? Anyone got the same answer, students? Please respond. Did you got 184 megahertz?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now coming to the second part. This already you have done. So I don't want to repeat this. This is by using the open circuit time constant method. So please go for the results of CS amplifier. In the last class, I have consolidated one table, right? So in that table, I have specified the equation for the time constant tau h. That is RGS, CGS, RGD, CGD, CL, RCL, right? And all the equations for RGS, RGD, and RCL is being mentioned over there. So by making use of those results, find the individual time constants, add all those together, then you will get tau h in picoseconds and take the equation to find fh. You can finalize our answer. That is 137. Already you have done this. That is why I'm not repeating this. You can go back and check your notes. Okay. So by using Miller theorem, you got the cutoff frequency as 184 megahertz, and by using open circuit time constant method, this is 137 megahertz. But this is the most exact analysis, open circuit time constant method. This is approximate analysis. That is why this much error is there. Okay. So anyhow, if you take this Miller equivalent, your answer will not be same as that of the open circuit time constant method, of course. Okay. But some approximations we have done in order to make the circuit analysis little bit more easier, so that you can confine your signal input till 184. So you may be knowing that is a design engineer will be getting the answer 184 megahertz, but with this experience, he will be knowing that this is not the actual one. So he can subtract some values from this actual value, and accordingly he can give the input so as to get the maximum gain. Okay. Being an engineer, you can give, or being an user of an amplifier, you will be giving your input till 137 megahertz or not up to 184. Okay. You can give till 100 megahertz, then you will be getting much more gain, because if you go with 184 and all or above 184 and all, it will be very less. The gain will be very less, because the actual cutoff frequency itself, it is 137. Even though the calculated value, if it is showing like 184, if you are giving the cutoff frequency, or if you are designing, or if you are giving your input till 140 or 145, again you will be having less gain, or attenuation will be severe, because the actual value is different from the the approximated value by using Miller equivalent. So the only advantage of Miller theorem is avoiding the complicated steps. Clear? So this already you have done this particular part, only that Miller equivalent only it was remaining. So that is done. So with this, I have completed third module, and by tomorrow or day after tomorrow, I'll be sharing the complete notes of third module. Okay. And within 8th of June, you need to submit the second assignment. So before deadline, you have to submit it. You can make use of the notes. And even also, I have shared the textbook also previously, right? The textbook e-copy with you. So you can make use of the learning materials and write the assignment as soon as possible and submit in the class. So from Monday onwards, we will start with module 4. Little bit out of this 5 modules, third module is little bit lengthy. I won't tell it is difficult, but if you are not studying it regularly, if there is no practice, means it will be difficult. Nth moment study will not happen. That will not work out. Okay, especially for the third module, because many things to be remembered, many equations to be remembered for CS, Cascode, CG as well as CE. Totally 4 configurations you have. You remember, right? CS, CG, CD, and Cascode. So for all these 4 configurations, you need to remember the equations for gain and cutoff frequencies. Then only you will be able to attempt the numericals. Without knowing the formula, you can't do the answers, right? You can't do the solution. Okay, so take it seriously, third module especially, as far as the subject is concerned. It is easy only, but you need to know the concepts and practice is required. Whereas if you come to fourth module and fifth module, it is not that much lengthy and it is easier for studying also. But third module, you need little bit more effort to do the, numericals as well as derivatives. Any queries, students? If not, means I will be ending the class. Okay. See you on Monday. Thank you.